Hi, and welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Explore, Discover, Know here on my little corner of social media. I'm Latasha Strachan, and we're doing something a little different today, a little exciting for me. I haven't done Explore, Discover, Know outside of my usual few minutes of coaching ever. But today I am joined by my friend, Ami. Ami is, can I even describe Ami? I think I need to let Ami describe herself. But I can say this, Ami is my friend. And I think that just sets the tone for how we're going to have this conversation. She is my dear friend. She's my sister in faith. She's a fellow writer, fellow blogger, fellow lover of scripture, lover of the word, and just an all around beautiful person that I have the privilege of doing this with today. And we have a really special topic we want to talk about with you guys for just a few minutes. But I'm going to let Ami tell you a little bit more about her and what she's doing over on her side of whatever ocean it is we share.
Okay, thank you, Tasha. For a second there, I was wondering who you were talking about, but then you called my name, so obviously it must be me. Hi, guys. My name is Aminata Koot. I am an author and a blogger. I blog over at Hebrews12endurance.com. And my passion is basically just talking to women and encouraging them in their faith because I've been there. I know how it feels like to feel lonely in this walk with God. And I don't know about you, but when I feel lonely, I don't want to do the things that make me feel that way. And so I come alongside with women and I just let you know that, hey, you have other people who are going through this with you. I mean, you may not be in the same physical space, but we're all here. We're going through this faith journey together. And not only that, but I have a passion, as Tasha said, for the scriptures and for understanding the Bible. And I know it's something that as Christians, we don't do. But I teach you on my website by just going through scriptures, this is how you walk through a passage. It's not as difficult as we sometimes believe it is. It's something that we can all do. And so I invite you to come through these Bible passages that I'm studying or that I'm reading, and I share whatever tidbits that the Lord is sharing with me, and in the hopes that it will encourage your faith.
And I want to just say that I think Ami is I know she's like, who is she talking about? No, I'm talking about her. She's one of the most passionate Bible teachers I know. I think she has just a gift of teaching and understanding of the scripture. And she gets super excited about it in ways that will become like, transferable to you. Like her excitement is palpable and you'll start to feel excited too. So you want to check out Hebrews12endurance.com. That's where she blogs from and shares all of this great wisdom. But the reason we're on today is because we were talking, because we do that sometimes. We just talk ideas. And sometimes we're like, oh, we should do that. And then we're like, should we really do that? And then we're like, are we going to do it? And then I'm like, yes, Ami, we're going to do it. And then she's like, I guess we are. And today is one of those days. So we're talking about friendship. Now, Ami, how long have we known each other now?
I don't know, 4 years, 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I don't even remember. So that was before. I've been here in Grand Bahama this is the start of my 4th year. And we were writing together before I ever moved. So we might be around 5 years by now.
I don't know. I know it was before the BVI hurricane. It was before that.
BVI hurricane, which was before Dorian hurricane. Mm-hmm. We're kind of looking like we don't know how to do math right now. I'm sorry that I even brought this up. You're okay. We are way back. That is not 3 to 4 years, Ami. But we've been friends for a long time, writing together and just serving the Lord together and trying to serve women together. And a friendship developed between us. And as a coach, one of the things that I tend to have to talk with people about is the relationships in their lives and how those relationships play in to where they're going and the plans God has for them and the things they're trying to achieve. And certainly the people that God brings into our lives are a part of our forward motion, which is what coaching is all about, forward motion. So friendships are worthy, of evaluating. So we're going to spend a few minutes together talking about friendship. We're going to do this again. So this is only part 1 of our series. Ami's like, oh, she's saying it out loud. Now we have to do it. But this is something that we're going to do ongoing until we get all of our, points out there. But the first thing we want to talk about is what even makes someone a friend. I know I have my basically my rule of how I determine whether or not someone is being a friend to me. But I'm going to let you start and sharing with everyone what is it that makes a person a friend in the first place.
But I think for us, well, I don't know about where you are, but in Jamaica, we can call anybody a friend. You spend 2 minutes, oh, that's my friend, my good brethren, yeah, man. We go back. You just met a person, but sometimes you have to really stop and think about what it is that you want to, why is this person a friend? Like you said, what makes a friend? And you'll quickly realize that a friend is somebody who will be there for you. Yes, because we have these, as I said, because we use this very broad categorization to call everybody a friend. Sometimes when you're going through something, you don't have anybody to call because you really don't have anybody who cares about you, right? So a friend is somebody who cares about you, a person who knows you, but they still accept you. Because you have those people who know you and then they try and get you to change everything that makes you you, which
Yeah.
defeats the purpose of you in the first place. But a friend, that person accepts you as you, but they don't have a blind spot. I mean, they see your flaws, but what they do is, one, they give you grace, lots of grace to cover all that messy
Yeah.
spot. And then two, they help you to grow through those weak spots. They challenge you, they challenge your knowledge of you, because some of us, we have an image of ourselves, which is
Yeah.
not always true. And what happens is we don't want anybody to tell us anything that breaks that image that we have of ourselves, right? But a good friend is able to tell you these weaknesses or these flaws about yourself in a way that is, it might be painful, but you'll accept it because you know it comes from a place of love, it comes from a place of caring.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know if you wanted to go straight into the Bible, but as I was talking about this, I just remembered while I was doing this research, what I discovered on the whole thing was that, okay, so I'm a Hebrew Greek geek. I don't actually speak the language, duh, I wish I did. But what happens when I'm studying the word is I like to go back to the original language because I am fully aware that a translation is just that. It gives you the best meaning based on the person who's translating it. It's not always 100% accurate.
Right.
So if you're a King James fan person, I'm so sorry. That may not be the best or most accurate version of the Bible. It's better for you to try and go back to that original language. You go back to the Greek and the Aramaic and go back to go back to the Hebrew. So when I went up, I was looking at the root word for friend. And it's actually the Greek word, I'm sorry, the Hebrew word Ra. And Ra is a derivative from another word, Ra. I wish I could give you the spelling, but what it is that word, the second word, Ra, it's actually a name of God, because you may have heard about Yahweh Ra, which is the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah.
Because the cool thing about the word friend is that it could also mean shepherd. And
Wow.
I don't know,
Didn't
it
know
blew,
that.
it, yeah, it like blew my mind, because when I started thinking about my friends being a shepherd, or me as a friend being a shepherd, it opened up this whole another thing for me, because hey, guess what a shepherd does?
A
A
shepherd
shepherd,
needs. Yeah.
yeah, but okay, so first of all, he's isolated with the sheep for like ages, yeah? So you're literally surrounded by your friends, yeah, all the time. But a shepherd, he goes ahead of the sheep, he makes sure that everything is safe, he finds food, he finds water, and in some cultures or some countries, they lead them out to new pastures each day. And then every evening, they take them back down to wherever they sleep that night. Now, David was a shepherd, right? And one of the things he talked about was how he had to kill animals to protect his sheep. That's a part of being a shepherd. Now, which of your friends is willing to do battle on your behalf?
Some of them are, but you're saying that, and just the fact that you gave that example of how in your culture, and the same is true in our culture in the Bahamas. Like, there are people who are just like fast friends. If you hang out on the weekends at the same, watering hole or the same fish fry or whatever, then we're friends. I mean, I only see you at the fish fry, but oh, we're friends, right? Um, but it says something though to how our understanding of friendship is supposed to mature over time. Because, you know, kids call everybody their friend. They meet someone on the playground and, oh, this is my new friend, mommy. And they go to school, you know, and everyone in their class is their friend. When they have a birthday party, everybody has to come because these are their friends. But then as we mature, we start applying some criteria. That's what should happen. And so you're describing the shepherd. That's a criteria that we probably haven't thought about. I know I certainly never thought about it. I never knew the meaning of that word in the Hebrew, and just to see that connection between shepherding and friendship, it just says there's a higher call when you take on someone as a friend. Like you're taking on a responsibility towards that person, and that person is taking on a responsibility towards you. So I guess it brings me to wondering, can we be flexible with these definitions? Is it all relative? Is it all cultural, or whatever you want for your friendship? I mean, what do you think about that? Because we live in a time now where we'll change anything to suit. We're not going to get into the things that people have changed in terms of relationships to suit what they want. But friendship is kind of different. Is it really relative to whomever it is?
All right, so before I answer that question, I want to go back to your example of being children who call everybody friends. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, because I believe that as children, it's a key factor, and there's some of that childlikeness that it would be awesome if we could keep, because a child doesn't look at skin color, he doesn't look at parental background, he doesn't look at how much money your parents have or what kind of clothes you're wearing.
So
He just
true.
looks at exactly. He just looks at, oh, we both like to dig in the sand, we're friends. Let's be friends together. You know, we both wear the same color shirt. Oh, let's be friends. And on some level, we really need to take that ability to accept people just at face value to an extent into our friendships, because sometimes we judge people on the face of it, right? We look at you and we see how you're dressed, or you know how you carry yourself, and we make a judgment call. And 9 times out of 10, we're not right. Yeah, but we've already cemented that impression in our minds. So on some level, we really need to retain that childlikeness. But at the same time, as you said, we need to learn to add these criteria, these layers to it, right? Because remember, we're shepherds, right? And we're looking for good shepherds too. So if we're looking for this quality in our friends, then it means that we need to realize that friendship is not just, you know, who you hang out with. Yeah. Now, as to whether or not the term friendship is relative, I know we use it that way, but it's really not, right? My husband is like probably the best example I have of this. My husband has like a very short, tiny list of people he calls his friends. So he, he's very,
I'm gonna
he's
tell him.
very clear. Mhm. He's very clear that, look, okay, we work together, we are acquaintances.
Mm.
We see each other once every 2 months, we're acquaintances. And he draws that line. And yeah, we are friendly. You know, I'm not going to be rude to you. If I see you, we're going to have a conversation, we're going to hang out. But I'm not going to tell you my deepest, darkest secrets. Yeah. And
Right,
I think
right.
Right. And I think that's something that we need to remember, or we need to learn, because we tend to, because we call everybody our friends, we think we can treat everybody with the same way. We can give everybody all of our dirt to carry, but some people will keep your dirt in a bag, and some people will lay it on the floor for everybody to see. Now, if
Exactly. Exactly. You
exactly.
usually don't know that until they've done it. And so then you're like, oh, but I thought you were my friend. I thought I could trust you. I thought I knew you. So it sounds like we're putting the cart before the horse in many ways. We just give friendship. We label things friendship without testing it, without trying it, without allowing it to elevate in a way to what we can call friendship. Because like you said, you can be working with somebody and they're an acquaintance, but over the passage of time, as you get to know each other, you know, you become friends. One of my very best friends today is someone I started working with over 20 years ago. and we were just coworkers. And today we are, you know, very close friends and involved in each other's families. So it can progress, but certainly the things that I share with her and the time that I spend with her, I wouldn't have been doing that when we first met all those years ago. So that's, you know, I know this isn't something we were going to stay on very long, but I feel like from a coaching perspective, I have to just spend a few minutes there with you, Ami, because of the amount of persons who I come across whose expectations have been dashed basically against the stones. Because people who they thought would be there for them for the seeing through of their vision, to support their business, to help them as they go through this illness or divorce or whatever it is that they're going through, we're not there. But through the questioning process and through exploring and finding out what's really happening, sometimes it's revealed that these weren't really the relationships that you should have had those expectations of. And so, which is sometimes very hard because you have to reconcile, well, why did I give that relationship the space that I gave it? What was that about? You know? So it's critical. It's critical that we not be loosey-goosey about who gets to be a friend and who we call our friends. So I know this wasn't something that I have to ask now and ask us both. I feel like some people, because they're not sure how to judge friendship, block everybody out. Like they don't know, like they don't have a list of things. They don't know what their criteria are. And maybe they've been burned, maybe they've had some bad experiences and now nobody's their friend. You know, you see them in church sometimes. Jesus is my friend, the only friend I need. Friend is than a brother, you know, and they get scriptural and holy about it, but they really are kind of saying, I don't know how and who to trust. And so since I don't know, I'm just not going to have anyone close to me to say that is my friend. So I guess that takes us back to what kinds of things would be our standard definition. I know you talked about caring, about someone who's there for your growth. I know I wrote down a couple of things before we got started. I wrote down that it has to be mutual. Like trying to be friends with someone who don't want to be friends with you is a dead end street, or someone who isn't giving as much effort to the relationship as you are. You know, you're trying to show up for them, but they're not trying to show up for you in anywhere near the same way, and like for no reason at all. And equality, like, do you feel like this person is your equal? And you know, we look each other in the eye and we're at the same level, and I don't feel like I'm less of a person around them. I'm not bullied by them, I'm not intimidated by them, because some friendships are really toxic, you know, and things like that. So do you want to add anything else to that? Because I feel like there are some people who might want to, I don't know, take a few notes on maybe these are things that could guide me.
You know, as you were talking, I got the perfect analogy in my mind as to how we should treat our friends. And it's going to sound weird for a bit, but just bear with me here. You know how when you go into a company, before you even pass everything, you got to go through a bunch of screens, right? So some companies do like a phone interview. So they talk to you, and if you sound, you know, the right part and you answer questions, they give you that, the privilege of a first interview, right? You go again, you go through another set of tests. Sometimes you have to do an actual examination where you sit down and write down stuff. And then you have to go and talk your way through this process. And then you may have to do up to 3 interviews to go through the process, right? So you've gone to the interview successfully. You're in the company now, and you're in at the base level. You are at the, you know, bottom of the rank.
The minimum wage entry level.
Yeah, man, you're down there. Yeah. And you want to now go up the ladder. What you have to do, you have to prove yourself, right?
Yeah.
You have to come in and first of all show that you can follow the rules, you can do what needs to be done at that basic level. But then managers always tell you that if they're going to promote you, they have to see you acting the part of the next level, right? So before they're going to promote you to a supervisor or a team leader or whatever, they want to see you displaying the traits, of that next level before they will promote you there. So I think we can probably think of our friendship as that way. No, I'm not telling you to get a questionnaire and give it to your friends. Although that would be really funny.
You know, you got a questionnaire that you
that, that image is, it cracks me up. But what I'm saying to you is, when you're coming into a friendship, or when you first meet somebody, allow yourself to be open, let yourself be open. Now, we have this saying here, my spirit just take you, which means that I just feel this
Yeah.
thing in my spirit for you.
Yep.
And I think that's a friendship that David and Jonathan have, because it says his soul was knit to his, right? So that's
Yes.
my translation, spirit take, right? So there's room for that, right? But just because you feel something in your spirit that we could be good friends, it doesn't mean that on day one you're going to start unloading on this person, right? So what you need to do is like observe how they treat people, because one of the things when I was going through the study, I saw a lot of proverbs talking about friendships, and one of the things that kept coming up is, well, two things really. The anger. Don't, the Bible says, do not be friends with an angry person, because you're going to learn his way and you're going to become the same person.
Mm.
And the other thing that kept coming up was, a whisperer or somebody who gossips destroys friendships. Now, when you are interviewing people for your friend position, and trust me, it's not a joke. You really need to be careful about who you let into your inner circle. But
Absolutely.
when you are interviewing people for this position, it's okay to observe them, watch them, watch how they treat other people, watch how they treat you, watch what they tell you about other people. Because, girl, if he come in to whisper about somebody else, she whispering about you too. Okay? So,
Let's stick a pin. I just want to say, I know people, and I try not to be that person, and I remind myself, you're not the exception. I know people who are like, oh, yeah, she did that, but she wouldn't do that to me. She hasn't done it to you yet. Just add that
exactly.
yet. You know, we all like to think we're special. We're that friend who's going to get the extraordinary treatment. And of course, there are friends who esteem you above other friends and your best friend. But those characteristics that are nasty, like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
gossipy spirit and that backbiting, and they can't contain that. In a matter of time, it's going to be your turn. Might not be your
Exactly.
turn right out the gate, but just give it time. Because we think we're going to be the one that they wouldn't do that to me. And then I think it hurts even more. Like, I never thought
Mm-hmm.
she would do that to me. But I'm like, you saw her do it to like 500,000 people.
Exactly.
But I'm supposed to be
Exactly.
your friend. I'm like, but you saw her doing it. But we kill ourselves lives.
Yeah. And it's one other thing that I think you need to look at as well. You need to consider the kind of friend you are to that person. Because sometimes we want good friends, but then we are nasty friends. We are mean. We talk down to our friends. We treat them poorly. The same level of, remember, we're both shepherds. I mean, it's not like one of you is a sheep and one is a shepherd. You're both shepherds and sheep. So your friend is your shepherd. You're the sheep for them. You are your friend's shepherd. They're your sheep. So
Yeah.
you both have to have that caring, nurturing. And that goes back to an earlier point I think we had. You both need to be in it and have the mutual investment. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
both of you.
accountability. Because if I'm seeing something in you, Amy, that you do tend to gossip, that you do tend to, say mean things about people behind their back, and we're in that shepherding relationship, I should be able to call you out on that. I
Exactly.
shouldn't just be thinking, oh, it's fine as long as she's not doing it to me, because that's not actually being a good friend. That's not shepherding. You might not be doing it to me, but I should care that you're doing it to other people.
And that's an opportunity for you to tend your sheep. Yeah.
Yes.
So you come to me in love, and either I'm going to accept it and try and change, or I'm going to blow up on you, in which case, how I esteem your opinion.
Exactly. Not that much at all. Um, well, we are over time and out of time for today. But I think we're off to a fantastic start, and I am looking forward to us doing this again. I'm not going to tell people we're going to do it again super soon, but I know we're going to do it again within the next week or two. I'm only saying this because, as a good friend, I'm not going to make Amy committed to something that we didn't really iron out yet. Like, because then after this is over, she's going to be like, I don't have a Jamaican accent, but she basically can tell me, "You do for more, girl. You do for more," because I didn't tell you I was going to. So that we don't have that conversation after. We will be back soon to share more about this really important topic of friendship and talk more, especially about the relationship between David and Jonathan, because Ami's done a really wonderful study on this, and she's going to share more with us about how we can really learn and glean from that super powerful biblical relationship and apply that to our own lives. Cool beans?
Cool beans.
Till next time, thank you for coming on Explore, Discover, Know, and make sure you're checking out Hebrews12endurance.com. Look for Ami on Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to be blessed by the wonderful studies that she does. I think she's evidence that she is really passionate, eh? Bye, everybody.
Bye.